Okay guys, this lesson is chapter 3, section 3. It starts on page 185. You're also going to need your notebook, pages 61 and 62. The main idea is how to round decimals. And we've been practicing how to round decimals, and this should be, for most of you, just a practice, because at this point you should have learned this skill in fifth or fourth grade. Okay, so the main idea for this chapter is how to round decimals. I want you to pay attention to these key concepts, because these are going to help you if you don't understand the concept very well. These ideas that are in this box are going to help you understand how to round your numbers. So let's go ahead and read rounding decimals. To round a decimal, first underline a digit to be rounded. Then look at the right of the digit of the place being rounded. If the digit is 4 or less, the underlined digit remains the same. Now these 3 points right here, this is talking about the numbers at the right of the place that is being rounded. So if the digit is 5 or greater, add 1 to the underlined digit. And after rounding, you're going to drop all the digits or all the numbers after the underlined digit. So let's look at the example that you have here. You have example number 1. And it says round 7.601 to the nearest whole number. So you're going to round to the whole number. In this case, the whole number is number 7. That's why it's underlined. Okay? So it says first underline the digit to be rounded. Then look at the right to the digit of the place being rounded. So you're going to look at the right. In this case, you're going to look at 601. But you're going to look only at number 6 because it's the number that is right next to the digit who's being rounded, in this case the whole number, which is 7. So you're going to look at the number, and then you're going to see if the digit is 4 or less, the underlying digit remains the same. So if the 6 was a 3, then you would leave the 7 a 7. But in this case, the 6, it's greater than 5, so you need to add 1 to the underlying digit. So your 7 is not going to stay a 7, it's going to become an 8. And after rounding, drop all digits after the underlined digit. So if you're rounding to the whole number, the 7 is not going to be a 7 anymore. Your 7 is going to become an 8. Okay, let's see what you need to write in these boxes. So on this first one, it says it's pointing to the 7. Because it's pointing to the 7, you are going to write underline the digit to be rounded. And in this case, we agree that you round it to the nearest whole number. Right? The nearest whole number. So the nearest whole number is 7. Okay, now we're going to look at the number to the right of the digit that is being rounded. In this case, we're going to look at number 6. Number 6. If the number is 4 or less, the number that is underlined is going to stay the same. If the number to the right of the number you're rounding is 5 or greater, you are going to add 1. you can see on the number line that 7.601 is closer to 8 than it is to 7. You can see 7.601, and here's the 8, and here's the 7. You can see that the distance from here to 7 is farther than to the 8. So on the number line, 7.601 is closer to 8 than 7. To the nearest whole number, 7 decimal or 7.601 rounds to 8, right? Because you looked at the number to the right, and 6 is greater than 5, so therefore we're going to add 1. So the 7 is going to become an 8, and we're going to drop all the numbers to the right of the digit who's being, or the digit that is being rounded. Okay, now it's your turn. You can pause this video, you can rewind, you can look at your notables. Your turn. You are going to round 4.321 to the nearest whole number. Okay, 4.321 to the nearest whole number. Go ahead and pause this video and check your progress by rounding. Okay, you should have had 4.321. You should underline your 4 because that's a number that is being rounded to the whole number. Then you look to the right of the number that is being rounded. Now 3 is less than 4. Okay, 3 is less than 4, so therefore we're going to leave the 4 the way it is. So your answer should have been 4. Okay, so 3 is less than 4, so you're going to leave the 4 the way it is, and you're going to drop all the numbers to the right of the digit that is being rounded, excuse me. So your answer should be 4. On example number 3, beans. A can of black beans cost 0.0726 per ounce. To the nearest cent, how much does an ounce of black beans cost? Now how many cents are there in a dollar? If you said 100, you are correct. So rounding to the nearest cent means to round to the nearest what? What do you think? There are 100 cents in a dollar. So rounding to the nearest cent means to round to the nearest. If you said 100, you are correct. Okay, so we're going to put 100 here. And this should be 100. 100. Ooh, barely fit there. Okay, so in this number, we're going to be looking at the hundredths place. In this case, is the 7, so that's why we're going to underline. So we're going to put here, underline. Yay, I'm excited because I found my stylus. So hopefully you'll be able to understand what I'm writing here. So it says underline the digit to be rounded. In this case, we're looking at the hundredths place. Okay. Then you're going to look to the right of the number. You're going to look to the right of the number. In this case, we're going to look at the 2. Okay. So if that digit here, in this case, is the 2, if that digit is 4 or less, it's going to stay the same. If it's 5 or greater, you're going to add 1. Okay? Okay? So, to the nearest cent, an ounce of beans costs Okay, we already see that there's a 7, so the 2, it's less than 4, so we're going to leave it at 7. So it cost decimal 0.7 to the 700ths. Okay, this is example number 2. You are going to round 6894 to the nearest tenth. Okay, to the nearest tenth. So there's a 9. Okay, so 9, that's what being rounded. Okay, you're going to look to the right of the 9, which is the 4. And if it's 4 or less, it's going to stay the same. And if it's 5 or greater, you're going to add 1. Oops. Let me delete that. You're going to add 1. So the 4 is less. It's 4 or less, so we're going to keep it the same. Okay? So the 9 that is being rounded, we're going to keep it the same. So you can see on the number line that 68.94, okay, 68.94 is closer to 68.9 than it is to 69. So on the number line, 68.94 is closer to 68.9 than it is to 69. To the nearest tenth, 68.94 rounds to 68.9. Okay, let's check your progress. You're going to go ahead and do this problem on your own. Okay, round 125.38 to the nearest tenth. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video so that you can work out your problem or the problem. Okay, so you should have 125.38 and you're rounding to the nearest tenth. So these are the hundredths and these are the tenths. So I should have underlined the 3 because this is my tenth. Okay, then I'm going to look to the right of the number that I'm rounding, and this is greater than 5. So what am I going to do if the number is greater than 5? I am going to add 1. So the number that I'm rounding, that's the one that I'm going to add the plus 1. So my answer or your answer should be 125.4. That's what you should have. Okay, this is the last problem. Should be on page 62. Check your progress. We're working with cereal. The price per ounce for a box of cereal is shown as decimal 1275 or 0.1275 on the tag in the grocery store. How much is this to the nearest cent? Okay, so we're looking at cents. Okay, again, so we're rounding to the nearest cent. So remember the cent. Remember century, we talked about this. So cent equals 100. So we're going to be looking at the hundredths place. Hundredths place. Okay, so you have 0, decimal 1275. Since you're going to be rounding to the nearest cent, which is the hundredths, you're going to look at the second digit because the 1 is the tenths place, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So this is a number we're going to round. So we're going to look at the right of the number that we're rounding, and this is greater than 5. It's 5 or greater. So it's greater than 5, and because it's greater than 5, we are going to add 1 to the number that we're rounding. In this case, the 2. So if we're rounding to the nearest cent, you should have $, 0, decimal, 1, 3. So it'll be 13 cents. Okay? Now that you're finished with the lesson, you're going to be working on the problems that are on page 147 to 149. You're only going to do the even numbers, and you're going to work on your notebook. I will check your notebook on Thursday that you have completed all the problems.